What's up, everybody? This is Storyalysis. I'm Chris,
And I am Pierre.
and we're starting a new show today, Vinland Saga. To be more precise, since we've already seen season one, we're going to summarize the events in each episode of season one, talk about some scenes here and there, and then eventually catch up to season two. Uh, we have not seen season two in its entirety yet, so once we do catch up, we'll go more into detail on each of those episodes. But for now, it's just we're just going to summarize. So, episode one, we start off. It's called "Somewhere Not Here." Um, so we start off with the perspective of Thor's. He's this brolic man draped in the armor of a warrior, starting out or staring out into a beautiful field of mountains, lush grass, and fertile soil. And in the distance, his wife Helga calls out to him with a baby in her arms and a smile on her face. And she's outlined by the light of a brilliant sun. And then suddenly, when Thors reaches out to respond to Helga, the scene suddenly takes a turn. The warm tone becomes cold, and he looks at his feet to see a dismembered head and an arm lying in a pool of blood. And then at this point, everything changes. Like now we're in the middle of a battlefield. Thors is being called out by Thorkel, which shocks him back into the moment of battle.
Right.
And then we have an incredibly beautiful, brutal, well animated sequence where Thors and Thorkel are just mowing down enemies left and right. Really intense music going on in the background. And we see that Thors is in a battle taking place in Norway in the year 987. So Thors and Thorkel, they're blocking a shower of arrows with these very stoic and calm faces. Their eyelids are lowered as if they couldn't be less affected by the brutality of the situation.
Yeah.
And then they mention the name of another soldier that they're working with, Floki, who comes up later in the show, but they choose not to show his face here. And then the battle continues. Thors fights an enemy underwater. He kills him, and then still underwater, he drops the sword in his hand, and then he swims away from the fight, abandoning the battlefield. And then, boom, we see title sequence, Vinland Saga. And then they play the beautiful opening, which
Yes.
I know you're a fan of, Pierre. I am
Yes.
as well.
Yes. Gym playlist all the
Gym
time.
playlist, right?
Love the song.
Meg!
Okay.
Oh shit! Headphone warning. Headphone warning. I mean, it's too late, but
shit! I was about to break
Would
into the
you-
opera. I was really gonna break the song like Meg. Well, I was like, all right, stop it. Chill.
it's an amazing song. It really is.
Oh,
And
my goodness.
I could go on for hours as to. I'm sure you can as well. Well, maybe not hours, but we can go on for a long time as to why
days,
it's an
bro.
incredible.
Days, hours. The fuck? That's an
Days.
understatement.
Oh shit! But yeah, it's incredible opening song. The opening in general is very strong. Already so much character depth, so much lore, so many important characters have been introduced, so much context is being given, and then all in the span of 4 minutes. So it's a fantastic way to open this rich, captivating, and masterfully written story by Makoto Yukimura. But yeah, so after that, after this opening sequence, the perspective shifts, and instead of following Thor's, we follow Thorfinn, his son.
Yep.
And so far, we've seen 3 names that share the prefix Thor, and these names originate from Norse mythology and Old Norse languages. So I'll quickly give a breakdown of each of them. So the name Thor is one of the gods in Norse mythology, and is associated with thunder, lightning, storms, and also strength. So very fitting for Thor's, our main character. And then his son, so Thorfinn, in Old Norse, Finrir, spelled Finnr. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but that means wanderer or wanderer from the north. And this
Hmm.
suggests somebody who travels or explores. So Thorfinn can be interpreted to mean Thor's is wanderer, um, or Thor's is traveler. And based on the direction that the show takes, the influence is very symbolic and it's clear. Um, and then for Thorkel, so Kel is believed to be derived from the Old Norse word kettle or ketil, spelled Ketill, which means cauldron or helmet. So Thorkel can be understood to mean Thor's is cauldron or the helmet of Thor's. And then given Thorkel's character, which again it's like he's like this massive brute, uh, the influence and the symbolism there is pretty clear.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
pretty dope. That is very dope, actually.
mm,
Like good, the fact that you yes you look into this, that's cool, but also that their name is not, are not vaguely given. It's like
right.
it literally
Yeah.
fits the people that those names are given to. Like Thorfinn, he
Mm-hmm.
ends up wondering, although we know why he's doing that. There's a purpose behind it. Thor's like his size, how he is. Thorkel, just it's that's dope actually. That's
Mm-hmm.
pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Like this is not randomly done. There's homework done behind this. Like these characters have these names for a reason. It's
Yeah.
very nice.
Yeah. And there's so much, I can't even imagine the amount of material that he had to read to
Yeah,
do this kind of stuff justice.
yeah,
It's
to do it
hard.
accurately. That's true.
It's
Because
hard
we
work.
are they're taking like actual history.
Yeah. And
It's
you can't
crazy
mess it up really.
because
Like,
it's
I
already
mean, you
there. Yeah,
can,
you can
yeah,
tweak
like,
it, of course.
mhm. Yeah, like, and if you said anything that was like, you know, just incorrect about history, people would call you out on
Mm-hmm.
it
We
probably.
call you
So
out.
it's gotta respect the guy for doing his own work. Um,
Mm,
but
great man.
yeah, so yeah, seriously. Uh, so then we go. So back to Thorfinn, back to the little guy. So we see he's in the year 1002, and he's in Iceland. So night falls over the village, and we see Leif Erikson telling the kids in the village a story of his adventures. And in real Norse history, Leif Erikson, his exploration of North America occurred around the year 1000, and he named this land that he claimed to discover Vinland,
Yeah.
due to its abundance of grapevines. And the term Vin comes again from Old Norse, the word Vinrir, Vinr. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right. That means wine. So Vinland can be interpreted
Mm-hmm.
as the land of wine or wine country.
Yeah, and then in French it's vin, like VIN. So it's the translation for
Mm.
wine. So yeah, it's nice that they're all so
Mm.
similar in all these languages.
Is that your first language?
Nah, French. Nah, actually. Actually, yeah, because my mom
It
spoke French with me at
is.
home, and my father spoke
Oh,
Creole with me. Yeah,
oh shit.
it's
Multilingual.
crazy. Yeah,
Oh,
dude.
damn.
Three. We're trying our hardest. It's a hard life.
So, but yeah, like Leif Erikson's voyage predates Christopher Columbus's voyage to the Americas by several centuries.
Bro, so
So,
he discovered America.
based on this, yeah, you can say that.
Columbus is a
uh,
fraud. But yeah.
yeah, I don't really know the connection, but it's if that did happen,
Hmm.
the education system in America has some explaining to do. But um, but yeah, so like he's telling this the kids this story about how he discovered Vinland, and of course, it's influenced by his real world counterpart. Um, and then he says a very profound line. Leaf says that the battlefield isn't the only place where warriors are found. Sailors fight against the sea. They're amazing. And any profession, be it a plumber, a chef, a doctor, a programmer, a manager, an accountant, they can all fit that framework of being a warrior that fights in their own respective battles. The battles
Yep,
can
in
be
their own realm.
mental, yep, in their own realm. Uh, the battles can be mental, social, physical. The soldiers in waging these battles, they're not gendered and come in a variety of shapes, sizes, and ages. Life in general is a battle, and every human is a soldier in one way, shape, or form. Um, so, but the idea of being a warrior is a very important theme that interweaves the entire story together. And this theme is discussed throughout the show, and it colors many of the scenes that we're going to be seeing in every episode that we watch. So
Hmm.
it's very important to establish the significance of a warrior early on,
Yeah.
um, or at least the concept. So uh, after the kids leave, we see a slave wandering in the thick snow. Then it cuts to morning. Yova is shoveling the snow with Thor's on her roof, and she asks Thor's like, "Why can't we get a slave?" And Thor just responds like, "You ask this every year. That's just not what we do." And then Yova,
Yep.
yeah, uh, yeah, like Yova, she protests, and then, well, not protests, but she's just like, "Oh, fine." And then she falls off the small roof, lands in the snow, and then she notices the body of a slave, specifically the wandering slave that we saw a few minutes earlier. As this is happening, Leaf is explaining another story to Thorfinn about how he was trapped in an ice floe, just further emphasizing how scary that the ocean is. Um, and then we cut again to Thor's bringing in the runaway slave. His hands and feet were rotted. He was pretty much on death's door, but that didn't stop Thor's from really trying to save him. So Leaf, he's continuing his story. He explains how he ran away from a place called Norway because a man named Harold or Harald appeared and conquered it. Thorfinn denies the story, denies the idea that his ancestors ran away from anywhere. Um, he most likely views it as being a coward. And so Thorfinn decides to run to his father to confirm the story, but he finds him performing CPR on the slave. And the slave briefly wakes up for a moment and then reveals that he's the slave of a man called Halfdan, who's now at the harbor, currently looking for him. And uh, Halfdan, he says a line about chains, where it's like chains are the only type of necklace that looks good on a human,
Mm.
not gold, not silver, but an iron chain. And a chain around a man's neck is the only way to make him half decent. Um, I don't remember if you told me your thoughts about this, maybe off air,
Oh,
but I
yeah.
don't.
Yeah. No, what I said about this was that as harsh as it sounded, which is very, very harsh, very negative. Like, unfortunately, in society, for society to function as a whole, like, we need not chains, but I'm going to like to placate his words and say we need like laws, we need rules, we need like obligations, things to abide by for us to be functioning like in a non-barbaric way. So to agree to what he was saying to some extent, I would. That's true. Like as human beings, we do need rules. We do need sets of laws. Um, bro, I really do got to remember the show. This guy said, what sets us, what sets us apart from the animals. It's like it's rules, bro. It's really bothering me that I don't remember what show or what movie that I watched this. Like he said it like 2 to 3 times in the movie or show. But yeah, which is true. Because if we didn't have rules, we didn't have anything, it'd just be savagery or more savagery than already is going on. So in a way, yeah, his
Mhm.
things make sense, but he was more saying it along the lines of enslaving. And he didn't even say
Yeah.
that about slaves. He said that about humans. Like chains are the only kind of necklace that looks good on humans. The only way to make a
Mm.
heretic out of a human is to bite him with the law. Bite him. Okay, that second one is better. Bite him with the law. That is true because if you're lawless, you're gonna do some crazy shit. We need to be put in check. We need to hold ourselves accountable. But the first part is like, bro, chain is the only kind of necklace that looks good in humans. That's like, like, bro, you're a human too.
Yeah, right. You gotta wonder how he sees himself then. If
Yeah. No,
he's willing to just,
he have a superiority complex. Like you can already tell that, bro. Like as right hand man can say shit. It's like shut up. It's like, bro,
it's like, I'm not human. I'm a god. I'm a
bro.
peasant.
This man literally like unskinned this man's face. Just skinned it. It's like, ugh.
Yeah, that was brutal. That was brutal. But yeah, so the right after he wraps the chain around the guy and rips it off, or rips his like skin and his hair off. Uh, he cuts back to the slave, and he's telling Thors how his family was sold to different places, to which Thors responds by describing a place called Vinland. And he tries to ease his final moments by making him believe that he escaped and reached this wonderful land. And not only he reached it, but also the family that he lost, they also reached it as well. So they show that he, like, the image that's in his head, it's like him running in a field towards the family that he lost. So right after that, Halfdan arrives at Thor's place,
Yeah.
and Thor's. So they have this. So they start talking because Halfdan wants his slave. Thor's doesn't really want to give it to him. Well, he doesn't want to give it to him.
Yeah.
So Thor stands up when they start the process of negotiation. He stands up, and the show really emphasizes the difference in size between Thor's and Halfdan, and it reminds us how Thor's is a man who can brute force Halfdan and his men if he wanted to, and he can do it pretty effortlessly. Yet he relies on peaceful negotiation,
Right.
and he ends up overpaying to let a slave, have his last few hours in
Which, bro,
peace.
yeah.
Which, yeah.
No, no, go ahead. I was gonna say
What word would you
this.
use to describe that?
I don't.
I would say very
You'd say very wholesome.
generous, very wholesome.
uh, the I don't know. This man's past, like sure, he's not someone that took pleasure into killing. He was just a great warrior, so therefore I can see how. And he grew up, I guess, the Jums Vikings. Like yeah, that Leif. No, I'm skipping ahead. Right, he grew up with them, so therefore he's a very skillful warrior. But later in life, after he abandons like the army, like he just did, we're still in episode one, to see like this man's choices, like this man's character, like no, we don't need a slave. That's not what they do. Like what he tells his daughter, like letting this man die and drastically overpace, which he takes a hit just so this man can go into the night swiftly or some kind of shit that people say. And it's just like it shows a lot about him as a person because that is a big hit. Like Fia, Leaf, bro, you timing us? You timing us? Leaf mentioned, like, people died in Greenland, like they froze to death. Like this upcoming winter is about to be crazy. Like Yilda came with two sheeps. They're like, hey, these two are too weak. They won't survive out there. So therefore, giving away sheeps will hurt this man and his family. But if that's the cost to let a slave peacefully die instead of being made an example of, even though he's gonna die anyway, because the dude was like 3/4 like dead. But he will take that bargain. Well, it's not a bargain. He's not his advantage at all, just so this man can die peacefully, which says so much about this man's character as a person. It's insane. It's really insane. A bit weird, not a
Mm.
bit weird, a bit like borderline. I don't know. It's like his daughter is like, seriously, like dude, like no, we can't do this. You know we can't afford to do this, but he's doing what he think is right, which is kind of righteous.
Would you call it?
Of
Would you call
course,
it
yeah,
naive?
that's very unilateral. Like you're allowing a man who's about to die better at the cost of like hunger and basically because you're giving away, and Halfland is like, I'm gonna handpick my eight. So I'll best believe he's walking out of there with the best eight sheeps that you have. It's like, it's bro, I don't know, man. But there's some good to it, man. There's some good.
Because there's a scene later on that you have an issue with, and I wonder if this is evidence as to why he makes the decision that he makes.
Mm.
You know what
Yeah,
I
I know what you're
mean?
talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Thor's in
Yeah.
particular. Yeah, 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 yeah. But yeah, so at the end of the episode, we're at the gravesite of the slave. Thorfinn asks Thors if Leif's story was true about their ancestors running away. To which Thors says yes, like he confirms that it was true. And then Thorfinn asks, "So where does everyone who wants to run away from here? Where do they go?" And then we see Floki coming to the island, and like because we watched the future episodes, we know he's coming with the
Yeah.
threat of war. So it harmonizes very nicely with what
Yeah.
Thorfinn just said. Because like if war was at our doorsteps, where would we
Yeah.
go?
That is true.
So
And of course, like Thor doesn't answer him, but he just like move his head in his direction, like which I interpreted as like a father saying, "It's
mm,
okay, son. Like we're not running it. Like as in, I'm here. I'm your father. I will protect you. I'll protect my family. So there's no need for you to be looking at beyond, like looking at like west, because they're coming from east, which is what Phil Leif told them. Like our ancestors came from Norway in the east, and then they had to migrate west to flee from the king that pushed him out. So therefore, he was looking out further west, and Thor's move his head like, "Nah, son, no need to. Like I'm here. Like your dad will protect you. Don't even need to think about doing something like that." And like you just said, 80s song signaling trouble. The Last of Us. There's a freaking ship heading your way. Trouble's coming. So fitting in for episode one, man, which lays the groundwork perfectly for episode two, showing you that shit's about to go down.
yep, yep. So episode 2, take it away.
All right, again to episode two, titled Sword.
Sword.
Now they give us some history, like no, actually, no, not history, not history. Like it's recent, something happened recently. Somewhere in northern England, the Vikings are bathing on a Saturday because it's tradition. And
Mm,
Vikings, Danes from Denmark. Now the British are aware of that tradition. They're aware that, because it's a relaxation day to bathe, nobody got their weapons. Everyone's butt naked in some lake or some river. So they attack them, kill most of them, and then they flip back. The kids are playing back in Iceland. Thorfinn and his friend, like they both they die in the game. And like, great, so now that we're dead, we make it to Valhalla, which is uh which is very like good. I'm a big Marvel fan,
mm,
and like you mentioned, Thor. Yeah, so like all these things, it's so dope that it's like the fictional character, like Thor, literally, as Loki, his brother, who's mischievous, who's bad, the same way as Floki. Like if you die on the battlefield, you get to go to Valhalla. Like he joked about that in Thor number 4. I think Lady Seth didn't die, but she's like, like she's injured, and she's like, oh, maybe I'll make it to Valhalla. And then Thor's like, no, but your hand might, because her hand got cut. He was like, no, you're not dead on the battlefield, but your hand, because that's severed, like one of her limbs. So it's nice that all these references, like Odin, like I didn't do the homework that you did for the Greek mythology, even though yeah, we did get taught these things in school. I think, but by watching Marvel, I was able to see the similarities, and I'm like, that's great. So yeah, they're like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they're playing dead. They're talking about being on Valhalla, and then oh shit, a warship is coming. They're like, damn. And he comes in, Floki comes in, and everyone's like, what the fuck's going on? What is this? And Leaf is like mad calm. Leaf's just chilling. And then Floki goes to talk directly to Thor, his Thor's. And then he tells him, the sister of the king of Denmark was a part of that massacre that took place where the Vikings were bathing. So because of
Mm-hmm.
that, the king of Denmark is like, you know what? He has declared war against England.
Right.
And hey, listen, man, you were so good of a fighter that although you left us 15 years ago, the king still wants you to fight by his side. And I'm like, oh shit, that's like mad cool. It's like because I'm like 15 years. That's something that should be like punishable by like death. That's what's the word? That's not exile. Exile is something you're forced to do. That's deserting. Yeah, they even mentioned that you're deserting your troops or your army or your country. I'm like, damn, you must have been a good fighter, which he was from that first scene that we did see.
The best, dude.
And like,
One of the
yeah,
best.
literally the best at it. But what I loved is that it looks like this man is making a request, but at the same time, he's getting ready in case Thor say no. Like as he's speaking, all of his soldiers start to slowly gather in the village. Like
It's a
it's
very
like
aggressive request with the threat of
yes,
war
yes.
in the
As in, bro,
village.
if you turn me down right now, people will die. It's like, oh my goodness, and he like and Thor's, oh man, Thor's like understand the situation, bro. It's like, it's like I get it. And then as he's doing all that, of course the kids don't know shit. They're like, what is going on? And Phil start to tell them, like, bro, y'all don't even know. Like y'all think these are soldiers. These are super soldiers. These are Jom's Vikings. And bro, these dudes were so badass that even the king of Windland, where they came from, couldn't get these mofos to pay taxes, bro.
Yeah,
it's like it's
imagine.
like y'all don't even know, kids. These are just top tier mercenaries.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my goodness. It's like damn, and then Thor doesn't say anything back, and then Floki got up. I mean, he dude didn't have no other thing to say but to accept. Unfortunately, because shit, you would have fucking like that would have killed your ass or something. Like because yeah, you're in a village. It's just you against a bunch of people that don't know how to fight. Uh, Crazy shit. And then of course he said yes, he's doing it, and then Floki takes off. Now,
Mm.
before I get to the next morning, is there anything you want to say?
Mm. The as Floki was talking to Thors, I think Ari bumps into one of the soldiers, right? Or is that after he talks?
Mm, yeah. As in the middle of the conversation, yeah, he bumps into him.
In the middle. Okay.
What did the
Yeah,
guy
like
say? The guy didn't say anything. The guy just gave him a look of like, bro, you don't even fucking know. Or what did he say? Oh, I don't remember. I don't remember. I know
I
the
don't
scene, but what was the dialogue?
yeah, I don't think the soldier said anything. But
No, Ari.
um
Yeah, what did Ari say?
oh, Ari, I don't remember what he said.
Mm,
But I do remember the presence that the soldier has when he looks at Ari. And
yeah.
just the way that they draw their faces. It's the same as
Mm,
how Thorkel and Thor's looked in the beginning. Like their eyelids were lowered. Their face is very
yeah.
stoic. Like they've
Yeah.
the look of men who've been through some serious shit in life.
Snipers, bro, assassins, sociopaths, bro. It's like
Yeah.
it's just, no, that whole scene reminded me of let me jump back. It reminded me of like John Wick number two, like John Wick number
Mm,
two, Santino di Santonio, whatever the fuck that Italian guy's name was in the movie. Like because he did John Wick a favor, which helped John Wick in number one, he came back to ask for to return the favor, and John Wick told him no. And it's like
mm,
John in John Wick's head, it's like I guess I can tell this guy no, but it's like You don't really have a choice, bro. You have to do this because the dude has your freaking marker with your blood. So the guy blew up his house because he said
Mm,
no. And then John Wick goes to Winston the next morning, and Winston's like, "Bro, why would you say no? Like, you don't, duh, like, like you can't say no to this offer, to this request. Like, the man, like, you owe the man to do this back to him because he did you a favor. Like, you signed an oath with your blood. It's almost like that's what I saw in that interaction. If Thor said no, everyone would have died in that village.
yeah. Hmm.
Everyone that couldn't fight would have
Oh,
died. Thor's could probably kill at least a good 20 to 30 by himself, but they were from the same crew. So these men, I would say, not equal, but have fighting experience to actually make it a hard fight for Thor's.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that's his old crew. It's like,
Yeah.
uh, yeah.
And I think
So
they're
then,
like the strongest, like the strongest, not army, but like the strongest unit. Is that I
of
forget how they
course,
described it, but they're like
yeah,
the
bro.
strongest.
If the king is requesting you, like and that group is not even like a part of like the army of like Denmark. That group is just like it's like a special ops group, bro. It's like the king's like, hey, bro, come help me fight this. It's like it's like
Mm,
nah, it's some crazy shit. But yeah, he's like, of course, he says yes. There's nothing that he can say. And they take us to the next morning. Thorfinn is fighting with this kid, and Thorfinn hurts the kid. Oh my goodness. Oh, and then the freaking speech, bro. Like, I don't understand how a man with a past so bloody can be this just like I can't even find an adjective for this man. So anti-war.
wholesome.
Huh? What is it?
Wholesome.
Um, not quite. No, no, sure. We can say that. Wholesome, yeah. It's like like dude, he holds onto the knife. Like he finds his knife, of course. Like Thorfinn's being punished. Like you shouldn't hurt this kid. Get out of here. And he finds his dad's knife, holding it, and he take the knife from his hand, from the freaking cutting edge portion, like where it cuts. Like his hands is bleeding. I was giving his son this lesson. Like you should not want to kill. Like, do you think it's something easy, something that should be normal to take away someone's life? Like, you shouldn't do that. We don't do that here. Like, oh my goodness. And like his hand is bleeding as he's saying this. Oh, just
Mm,
show you how rigid this man's body is and how soft and kind his heart is. to,
mm,
to not even feel the pain. It's like,
mm.
oh man. And of course his wife, like, like she sees the cut and she like ties his hand. I was like, oh
Yeah,
my goodness.
and before that, because this comes up a lot later on in the show, but when I like the little dialogue that Thorfinn and Thor's has, uh,
Yeah.
it's like Thor's is like a sword is a tool for killing people. Who are you planning to kill with this? And then
Yes.
Thorfinn he just stutters like
The enemy.
the enemy, and then Thor's is like who's your enemy? And then Thor kills or
Right.
Thorfinn's like Halfdan, and and then Thor's is just like you have no enemies. No one does. There's no
Mm,
one it's okay to hurt. Um,
mm.
so he drops this line and it sticks with Thorfinn for a great deal into the show. Like it just
Yeah.
lurks. It lurks in his subconscious. This idea.
Bro. Bro, if this man was a bad guy and became who he became, it would have been the second best 360 that writers have ever done. Like the first for me is like with Theon Greyjoy, Game of Thrones. Dude, went from the worst character in the show to freaking almost shedding tears watching this man die. It's like it's it would have been a complete 360. But the thing is, Thor's, although he was killing, it was never from like a sadistic point of view. But the dude's just a great man. But if he started as a villain and he became that guy at the end, bro, nah,
Mm,
that would have been beautiful. That would have been beautiful. But regardless, the man himself, great guy. So yeah, and then after that, they take us to the Faroe Islands. Oof. Our
mm,
anti-hero comes in, bro. Oh man.
mm.
Yo, Floki
Askeladd.
comes to bargain with Askeladd. Oh my goodness.
Mm,
Now, talking sadistic, yo, these men are, bro. Honestly, as we whoa, it's a loud motorcycle. As we dive deeper into the show, of course, like we're biased, we're following Thorfinn. I'm foreshadowing so far. I'm gonna come back. Like, oh, this is cool. We like this kid. Oh, we love Askeladd, but it's like, dude, these people are fucked up, man. Talk about Floki's fucked up. Like the first scene, these men are killing everyone in this village, raping women. These men took a priest, bro, a priest,
Yeah,
and it's freaking just toying with him. And Askeladd mentioned too. He's like, we hate Christians.
they do.
It's like, yo. And then Floki's like, yeah, um, I need you to do this deal for me, and if you can kill Thors, I can give you 5 pounds of gold to kill Thors. That's how the episode ends. Yeah,
Hmm.
and Askeladd, I haven't said anything yet, so that comes in episode 3. But yeah, like, and it ends. But like, bro, these dudes are gruesome, man. Barbaric. Like, this is the special ops. Special ops. This is
Yeah,
the if they're special ops, those are mercenaries, bro. Oh, like
truly.
crazy shit. Crazy shit. Anyway, episode 2 ends.
Yeah.
Back to you, Christian.
And then episode 3 begins, and it's called Troll.
Yep.
So, the conversation with Floki and Askeladd continues. Floki emphasizes that he'll only pay Askeladd in exchange for Thor's dead body. And, feet propped up, hands behind his head, relaxed as ever, Askeladd says, Thor's, the troll of Jorm. I've heard of him
Mm,
before. Are you sure it's okay if I kill him? Because he's a hero to you guys, right? And then,
yeah.
you know, I think it's important to note here too that Askeladd is well aware of who Thor's is before meeting
Of
Floki,
course. Of course.
because that comes up later on.
I mean, Thor's is
But
well known, dude. You would have to know who Thor's is because the German Vikings had to have been famous as hell, and that was the
mm,
freaking attack. That was the two
right,
strikers up front. So like, if this was soccer, those are the guys scoring goals, and then
yep,
Thorkel.
yeah. Any warrior across the land should know those two names.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so Askeladd says that he'll do any job so long as he receives fair payment, and then he prods at Floki for the reason that he came to Askeladd specifically instead of just killing Thor himself. To which Floki tells him, "Shut up, don't answer any questions, or
Mm-hmm.
don't ask any questions." Uh, and then Askeladd, he just increases his asking price. Floki pushes, saying that he must be pretty confident in himself to think he has the upper hand in the situation. And then a really cool moment happens. So the two, they have a stare down. The tension's rising, and that tension
Yep.
is cut by a spear that's thrown right in the
In
middle of them.
half.
Yeah,
Yep.
cut in half. And the one who flinched at the spear was Floki. Askeladd
Yep.
didn't waver in the slightest.
Oh, he knew
So
this was coming. This was planned. But yeah. Yeah.
he did. But even still, like firm gaze, fixed eye contact, and through action and demeanor, we understand that, as Floki said, Askeladd is not a man of mere words. Like his lack of a reaction to the spear, side by side with Floki's subtle reaction, demonstrated who was relaxed and who was on the edge, therefore who truly had the upper hand and who didn't. So Askeladd,
Yes.
yeah, like Askeladd, even though he knew, well, like Askeladd tells his men in a playful manner, uh, "Hey guys, better watch your aim." But meanwhile, Floki's like still processing what just happened.
You just got played. Yeah,
Yeah,
bro. It's like,
just got played,
and he
and
got he get close to Bjorn, and he's like, "Yo, that was a nice hit." And Bjorn's like, "Yeah, bro."
yeah,
It's like,
he daps him up.
yeah.
But
Real quick, what that reminded me of, episode 1, Haflin, knowing he has the upper hand, knowing that Thor's has an emotional attachment to the slave, because Thor's is anti-slavery and pro human freedom and shit. So he's like, "Yeah, I'll double my price." The same way, Askeladd knows he has the upper hand. Know that homeboy can't really kill Thor's. Like, he needs his hand not to be dirty. So it's like,
mhm,
yeah, bitch, you're gonna pay me. I'm gonna double my price. Like,
yeah,
it's like, you do need me in here, because you can't do that task yourself. But
he's
yeah,
too
yeah,
afraid of Thor's. But yeah, so back to Thorfinn's village. Helga, one of the most popular girls in the village. She's being flooded with a whole bunch of boys asking for her hand in marriage. they're under
Mm.
the pretty strong assumption that they're gonna make it back from war. Like you have
They're delusional,
Ari's,
but yeah.
they are heaven, like they are heavily delusional. The to the point where Ari's mom is packing his lunch as if he's going on a school field trip. Like
Hey, but then he tells them the reminder that they're Vikings. Don't forget to bathe on Saturday. Remember the
yeah,
beginning of episode two? How the beginning of episode two, correct? Yeah, the attack from the British because they were Vikings from Denmark on a Saturday. The mom's like, "Hey, don't forget to bathe on a Saturday." I was like, "Oh, that's kind of nice." Then to touch
yeah,
back on that.
mm-hmm, yeah, and yeah. So even though everybody is delusional about what war is actually like, we hear from Leaf that the plan is to let the boys who are joining Thor's believe that they're going to go to battle. In reality, they're just going to get dropped off in Norway en route to Joms or Jomsburg. Uh,
Yep.
so yeah, so we see little tidbits of people being excited that they're going to war, and then Thor's or the crew in Thor's, like so Thor's and some boys from the village, including Ari, they set off, and
Before
Thor's.
that, real quick. Before
Mm,
that, so sorry. Like
mm,
the fact that he only picked five boys is because Leaf's ship is kind of old and can only contain five guys. Like it's just how thought out, how he mapped this out to spare the life of everyone in his village is so. It's like Norman, Promised Neverland, about to die, but to figure out a plan to fucking help every other kid. A
mm,
spoiler, but yeah, it's almost like I'm bringing five people, but you're not gonna fight. And there's only five because one father asks, "Why is it five?" And they're like, "Oh, well, Thor's like five guys by himself." And Leaf tell the girl to continue the secret. He's only bringing five because my old ship to bring these five dudes back can only hold five guys. So for that reason, we couldn't have six people. So this is all part of Thor's plan to bring them right back because he's picking up some pirates to help him fight. And I was like, damn, this man is an angel. But yeah,
mm. Yeah, yeah, and Thor's doing the row work equivalent to three people. Pretty
bro.
nuts. That's
Yeah,
I don't even know how you have such a big paddle and standby. It's kind of crazy.
dude, and the guys are complaining already. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, 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 and yeah. So when as Thor's and the crew are departing, Thor's he's stumbling to ask Helga to express his goodbye uh, to Thorfinn, and before he finishes, Helga just agrees. So it's like a quiet gesture between a husband and a wife that doesn't need any words to convey what they want to say to each other, which was beautiful to see. I like how they wrote that in there.
Right?
Uh, but yeah, so deep into rowing, aside from Thor's, everybody gets tired, and Thor says that we can just ride the current now. And that's when it's revealed that Thorfinn was on the ship the whole time. And Thor's, he has a mix of surprise, anger, and joy. And seeing Thorfinn's excited face, concedes to the situation, and then, well, he concedes to the situation after giving Thorfinn like a pretty good spanking.
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, we see Askeladd coming to the correct conclusion that the hit on Thor's is an assassination attempt based on a personal grudge, not an official bounty hunt. And even more so,
Mm.
Floki is afraid of losing if he tried to kill Thor's with his own men, so he puts the job on Askeladd. So
Yep. He wouldn't be able to explain to his boss because that's a crazy failure. But yeah.
yeah, like they're afraid of one soldier taking out the entire unit, but it doesn't change the fact that Askeladd will kill Thor's anyway. So and he wants to see what Thor's face looks like anyway. And it like that's a it's a sort of test that Askeladd performs on people throughout the show. This is the very first time we're seeing it, or the first time he's mentioning it. Uh, so as Thor's and his crew drift on the sea during the night, Thorfinn is on his father's lap, and then Ari makes Thor's recall the story of Ylva's birth.
Yep.
So she was
He says
born
Ilva. Like he says
Ylva,
Ilva. Yeah.
Ylva, Ylva, Ylva. Uh, yeah, I thought I heard Ylva. I'm not sure.
Honestly, it might because it is a Y. It is YLVA. So yeah, it might be Yelva. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that name though. It's very pretty.
Right? Yeah.
um, but yeah, so she was born when Thors was in the Yalms Vikings. Back then, he was a callous man with little regard for children. The cries of a baby bothered him, and he cared little for holding his newborn with affection. So he just told Helga to, he told Helga to give him a boy next, as though she had, control over that. And because their leader, which was Helga's father, wanted a boy next, he told Helga to do that. So in over 15 years, Thors never saw Helga be mad, but Thor's refusing to give a name to their newborn child caused her to show this quiet yet dominant anger, and that's a pretty massive moment for her character, no doubt. Uh,
Right? Because she's always been calm. Yeah.
yeah, and she's still calm even in the present day, even when Thor's well, that's farther into the story, but yeah, like she's always calm. And this story, specifically the birth of Yilva, was what made Thor's become scared of battle, not because of the fear of death itself, but the fact that his death would cause harm to his family. That's what he was afraid of.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
Hmm.
That's why he told the guy. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So time passes and they arrive at Faroe Islands,
Yep.
which is in the middle of Iceland and Norway. So as they row into the cove, the atmosphere gets ominous, and they realize too late that they've already fallen into Oscalat's trap. So debris rains down on them, blocking the entrance they came from, and it sets the stage for the encounter between Thor's and Oscalat's men. So a ship comes from the other side of the cove with Oscalat at the bow. The crew, our crew, like Thor's crew, it's their first taste of real danger, so they tremble as they arrogantly think that they can take their foe or take
Right.
on their foes. And Dorfin or Thors tells them that they're no match, to just leave it to him. So he walks to a chest, takes his sword, reluctantly gives Thorfinn a small blade, and tells him it's only to protect himself. And then after that, we see Bjorn eat a berserker mushroom. Thors takes
Mm-hmm.
the initiative by jumping on uh, Bjorn's boat, beats down all the Vikings with his bare hands, pressing Oskalad, and then we move into episode 4.
All right. Episode 4. A True Warrior.
You.
So literally, homeboy beats everyone. That's a stretch. Most of the guys that comes his way effortlessly. Like, in the middle of the fight, of course, like you mentioned already, he put it in his mouth. He didn't eat it yet. Bajorn, the berserker mushroom, because he was
Mm-hmm.
talking to Askeladd in episode 3. Like, hey, this is kind of easy. He's just one guy. Do I really need to do this, or should I let them have fun? So as Thor's killing everyone, no, not killing. He didn't kill. Beat everyone. He bites into it. Bam. So it's crazy how there's no fear in Askeladd's face. This is why, as sadistic as his people are, which he allows them to be, because dude, you can lead and say, "Hey, we're not raping women and killing people. We're settling." But regardless, that's it's anyway. Yeah, even that village. That's how Field was able to point it out from afar. Like, there usually were more people, more houses, because yeah, they just freaking kill everyone. They were toying with that priest. It was that place. So So he's like, coming all this way was worth it. I'm like, bro,
Yeah.
like he's watching Thor's beat everyone. Like, I love
Mm-hmm.
that, man. There's like, I hate that I like this man because, like, I try to be as good of a person as I can be. Even though this is just a show, I'm like, dude, I don't like what you stand for. Like, you fight with no ethics, like no value, just whatever money is given to you, you just do the job regardless of who you're hurting. It's like, but that it is what it is. But in that moment, it's like, bro, he's like, oh, coming this way was worth it.
Yeah, like
Like,
the idea of being impressed when you're in a situation where
right?
you're in danger. It's a very what's a good word for that? Like it's very it's a strangely alluring thing to witness in a show.
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
cool, very cool.
Yeah, like and then the boys when Homelander got home in the season one's finale, and he saw Butcher have spoiler, bro. I keep forgetting these people. If you didn't watch the boys, like pause for the next I don't know 45 seconds. Yeah, and he comes in the
Hmm.
house and he's like, Butcher is literally holding Marilyn captive, and he's like, so he have you held captive because he knows that you are someone that I care about. That's kind of dark. Like I like it. Like,
Hmm.
bro, Homelander, I
Yeah.
freaking dude. If you give me a good villain, I am here for it. Oh my goodness. Oh. Anyway, something like that. As in, this man is like, yes, he's not getting off, but he's like, this is great. Like an equal, someone that can be as equally dark as I can get. 'Cause I can do some dark shit like that. So great. Thor's realizing that, bro, like all this fight, it is what it is. They have archers. He stepped back. He's like, Askeladd, I challenge you. And, if I win, I get to go. If you win, you do whatever you want to do. Um, wait, if I lose, did he say if I lose, spare? He didn't say if I lose, he said you can do whatever you want. No, I don't think he even
Yeah.
entertained the idea that if he lose to yeah, he didn't even right, that's after he got hit. Yes, yes, yes. If I lose, do whatever you want because he knows I can beat this dude. This fight. Oh, this David versus Goliath. I mean, size wise, dude, Askeladd is his stealth is insane, man. The surprise attack, yo,
That was dope.
like, yeah, like dropping the fleet thing. What is the name of that? What do you call that? The big thing,
Mast. I think
mass.
it's
Sure,
yeah.
English is not my first language, but sure, mass. Dude, as that thing is so heavy because it's heavy, it's going down fast. For you to be agile enough to swift yourself underneath it and come out. Like, dude,
Hmm.
90% of men would have died from that attack. Thor's is just equally sharp. My man's on his toes 24/7. Like,
Hmm.
Asgard was like, oh shit, my surprise attack didn't work. Like, oh damn, and the fight. Oh, the fight scene was beautiful. Like, he almost matched him in the beginning, and then
Mm.
it became completely
I,
one-sided.
I
No,
think
the first, yeah, you think the only what?
the only time he really had an advantage was when he
Got
got the
attacked.
slice. But everything else
Yeah,
after was just he was getting beat down.
that's literally why I said in the beginning. Dude. Like, yeah,
No, but in
like
the
I'm being
beginning.
overly generous. That's true. That's not even the beginning. The dude had one hit. Like the first hit
Yeah.
was advantageous to Askeladd. Everything else was just all Thor's. My boy was in the defensive, but although he's in the defensive, like he is sharp. He's like, okay, my sword won't be able to hold. Let me cut his, bro. Like dude. You know how hard you're constantly being attacked, one after another, speed of light, because the man is fast and strong. To still strategize in the middle of that, it's that required amount of like calmness. You're not calm, but because this is a flight. He's not fighting. He's literally fleeing because he's in the defensive. Like I'm saying, he's receiving these blows. He'd be like, "Wait, let me do this instead. I can't hold out. Let me cut his." Like, dude, I was like, "Man, this man can actually fight." No, I was like, "Bro, Askeladd is." I was like,
Mm.
this old man can fight.
Yeah.
Oh man, damn! And of course, that still didn't work because Thor's ended up with his sword, held him at sword point because gun point is I don't know, sword point is a thing. It is what it
Close
is.
enough.
Bjorn, seeing that homeboy's losing, of course, jump on the ship and hold Thorfinn captive and have a freaking knife to his throat, which was such a stupid move. But then again, like, what do you expect? These are savages, bro. Oof! And then the speech, bro. He doesn't kill him. The dude's like, "Wow, you're very righteous. You truly are a great man. Maybe you should be our leader." No. For a split
Mm.
second, I believe that he believed that, and
I think
realizing
he did. Yeah.
bro,
I think he was. It was like 75% of it was serious,
yeah,
and then the
yeah,
other was a joke.
bro. It's the effect that he saw too that this man had on his whole crew. Because he's looking around, everyone's in disbelief, bro. You just lost, boss. You just lost. Like I can never look at you the same way. It's like maybe you should lead us. It's like and it just got this somber silence to let that sink in. He's like, I'm just kidding. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
And
and
shit.
what does
No, no, go ahead, go
or
ahead.
yeah, I'm just trying to remember if he says the what Thor says about if I have to rely on a sword, then I'm not a master yet.
A true master doesn't need a sword.
Yeah,
And
because
he
that's a very
drops it.
important line. Yeah,
Oh, bro. Yeah, like if I solely have to rely on that, then I haven't become like I haven't like get past it or get above it or something like as in this is
mm,
still like this is not elementary, but this is not where I want to be as a man, as a
true warrior.
master, a true
Yeah.
warrior. Oh my goodness. Oh, and of course the dude reminded him like, what do you think this was gonna be like some fair shit? And he's like, I won fair and square. It's like fair and square. The fuck, there's no ref here. I was like, bitch, you're outnumbered. I got archers at the top. Fuck. And shit. He's like, okay, the winner of this duel is you. That is true. And then he lift his hand to signal. Oh my goodness. Yo, bro. All these arrows still standing, and freaking delivers his final messages to freaking. Oh, he's like, leave. I don't
Cut
know
my
why
head
I'm
off.
freaking. Yeah. Oh, first of all, he look at homeboy. He's like, you cheated. You knew fair and square that I won, but like I understand. It is what it is. He look at Leaf. He's like, cut my head off and freaking go to the go to the leader of the Jumps Vikings. Cut my head off and bring it to him so they can have proof that I am dead. Because if you don't, oh my god, if you don't, he will seek revenge on my poor village. Dude, I'm thinking Norman Promised Neverland, bro. Final moments. Oh, to just think for everyone but myself. Like, while I'm about to die. Oh my goodness, bro. Yo, did he turn on like a Thorfinn? I don't remember. Did he tell Thorfinn
Um,
anything?
I mean, I know as he was dying, he had his hand on Thorfinn's head.
Yeah, yeah, because he
Um,
ran to him. But I don't think I don't remember a dialogue.
yeah.
Oh, bro. And then standing still, bro. Oh man, my boy stood the whole time. Thorfinn is crying, and then, of course, after passing this painful, freaking brutal scene, Askeladd is getting the count from his one of his men. So, like, what's going on? Like, how many did we lose? And like 28 injured. And he's like, injured? Nobody died. Even as he said that, you can see in his face for the first time. Well, I just met this man, Askeladd, like 2 episodes ago, but I'm like, this man understands the significance of the significance of who he just killed and the kind of man he just killed. Like I feel like that weighed on him, like to the point
Hmm.
where he was isolated on that corner by himself, replaying his soldiers telling him nobody died, as in he could have killed you, bro, but he didn't kill anyone. I think this is even why he took pity on Thorfinn, because when they realized, like, oh shit, Leaf did go with everyone, but this guy is still back here. Yeah, bro. Quick question. Yeah, yeah. Before I end episode like 4, how did they
Hmm.
miss him? Like, how did
Miss who?
Leaf not remember? It's 6 people, 5 guys plus Thorfinn. How do you not do a head count to be like, you got to go back, son? Like, how did Thorfinn manage to be left without the other five men?
Well, I would assume he learned from how he snuck onto the boat in the first place. Like
I
maybe he,
understand, Christian. I understand. Yeah, I get it.
yeah.
I get it.
I mean, we can
Listen,
always. It's all
yeah.
like guessing. Yeah, but
I mean, if the man who just saved my life and basically died for me told me, "Hey, take my head and bring to some people so they don't kill your village," I'm pretty sure I would hold his son close because this would be the only way I'd be able to pay gratitude. But it is what it is. like, I don't understand how this kid managed to get lost in the crack. Like, I don't care if you're stealth, you're agile, you're a freaking cat like freaking to hide. Like, I'm not gonna lose sight of you just because of what your father just did. I'm bringing you back to your mom. Like, but anyway, it is what it is. But yeah, bro, it's like, yeah, they're like, leave him. Like, of course he's screaming, and the guy's like, hey, he's behind. Like, should you just kill him? And I think Oscar had felt bad. Like what I'm saying, like what the kind of man he just killed from replaying the scenes. Like, this was a great man. Like, the dude fought me fairly. The dude could have killed me. The dude like didn't kill any one of my men. He was like, just leave him. He'll die soon anyway. I think that was him taking pity on that kid because of his father.
Hmm.
I don't know. But then, yeah, and then the episode ends.
Yep. Yep. So episode 5, the troll's son. So now we shift from following Thors to following Askeladd with Thorfinn in tow. So they pay him no mind as he starves on the boat that he's following Askeladd in. He's parched. He's forced to sit with his rage. They arrive at England near the Humbar River. The Vikings continue to ignore Thorfinn, and then they go on a trek to pillage, murder, and find food. A weak Thorfinn trails not too far behind and struggles in his own way to survive. So night falls, and Thorfinn, he's out in the forest. He's like in the middle of a river, probably drinking some water, and then he sees a blazing fire in the distance, and the fire is followed by screaming villagers. So the epic drums and trumpets play in the background, raising the tension, raising the stakes. Bodies fall, women are raped, children cry, Vikings cry out in joy, and then the scene ends with the Vikings sleeping, like as if they had a solid day's work. And Thorfinn, he finds Askeladd sleeping in the bed, or in a bed, and he stands behind him. He prepares himself to kill him, yet he doesn't. He resolves himself and decides not to, and then walks away. And we see Askeladd was awake the whole time, and we're left to ponder whether or not he'd let himself be killed or if he would stop Thorfinn. I'm inclined to think that he would let himself be killed, but you know,
Hmm.
what do you think?
Um, I don't know actually. No, I mean, I didn't. I don't think even like felt bad enough to be like, let me let myself be killed. I don't think he would have. I
Hmm.
don't know. What do you think he would have let himself be killed? Because there was no guilt. Like you, like I wanted to touch up on that too. Something that you just said is that the guys are literally, you just killed, raped people, and they're all sleeping peacefully. It's like,
Hmm.
bro, these are
Yeah.
monsters, man. But
Right.
oh my goodness,
Sleeping
and
with a
Ascalad is
smile on
just
their
the
face.
worst of all of them. Yeah, because you're allowing this. Like you can dictate how your group moves. They're obviously like that because of you, because you're the leader. Which is just
Hmm.
crazy shit, man. Like no matter how fucked up the Joms Vikings are, you don't see Floki out here participating in this kind of shit. Although Floki's a worse kind of animal, Floki's sneaky and mischievous. These are the cruelest of people. Those are friends, fake friends. Askeladd's like to your face, I will kill you, or I don't like you. So, but still, yeah, it's just, it's I don't think so. Probably if it was
Hmm.
fresh, if it was right after the battle, maybe. This was like
That's
a
what
few
I'm
days
thinking.
past, I think. Yeah.
Because I'm thinking that he's still dwelling on the fact that Thor's never killed anybody. It was a very because Askeladd, as we'll see throughout the show, he's a. There are moments where he adheres to honor and he adheres to principle. Like, so
Mm-hmm.
I think there was regret, or at least shame, at the very least. So, and it would have
Well,
been
that's
pretty
true.
hard to deflect because I'm pretty sure Thorfinn had the sword raised. No, like one
Yeah.
swing down
Mm-hmm.
and that's it. So
Yeah.
getting like being able to deflect that while you're in bed with the sheets over you, I don't know. That would be tough. But yeah, so morning comes, Thorfinn challenges Askeladd to his first duel.
Yep.
The Vikings in the background, they humor him, they mock him, some encourage him. And Askeladd accepts the duel, perhaps out of respect for Thor's, perhaps out of respect for Thorfinn, because he didn't kill him last night. And but even though he accepts the duel, he easily takes Thorfinn down. Um, so it's one of the first of many that we'll see scenarios like that.
Right.
And then afterwards, we get a scene where Askeladd is getting his spoils for killing Thors. So they tie up that loose end with Floki and Askeladd, their whole deal together. And then we cut right back to Thorfinn. He's still struggling as far as food. So he's allured by the scent of meat that the Vikings are cooking up at the campfire. So he walks up, and then the men take notice of him. And they toss him this scrap of chicken that barely has any meat on it, and they mock him. So he runs off into the forest to find his own food. And what I found I found interesting is that they did mock him, yeah, but when Thorfinn ran away, they were kind of confused. They were like, "Huh," like the smile wasn't there anymore. They weren't laughing, and they were like,
Yeah.
"We were only trying to help him." Uh, so that's a very striking thing to see uh, from a group of people that just raped women, murdered children, and did all those things
Mm-hmm.
the night prior, and then they're like confused at Thorfinn's reaction. Like it's interesting what was happening there because it feels very layered, but at the same time, it's as if you don't have enough information to understand why it's layered. But yeah, but regardless, so yeah, they toss the scraps to him. Thorfinn runs off into the forest to find his own food. At first, he has to rely on nuts and berries, but in his desperation, he waits for the men to leave the campsite while it's raining, and then he goes back to pick up that little scrap of chicken that they threw at him, and then he gnaws on
Yeah.
it to get as much food as he can from that, and then tears just fall from his eyes. And then after that, we cut to see Leaf. He made it back to his home
Feel.
village.
Leaf. Yeah, leaf. I said
Leaf,
feel. Leaf.
feel,
Yeah.
who's feel?
Back to Iceland. That's him. That's leaf backward. That's feel backward, I guess. Never mind.
How
Yeah,
did
he
you
made it
get
back to
that?
Iceland. I don't know how, man. I don't know how. Don't judge me.
Yeah,
But yeah.
yeah, but so he makes it back to Iceland. He's telling Helga and Ylva that Thor's sacrificed himself for their safety, and Ylva, she puts on a brave face and a brave act. She forces herself to just accept it, and then
Mm,
casually goes back to work to distract
mm-hmm.
herself from the news. And
Yes.
right after Ylva leaves, Leaf says to Helga that he'll find Thorfinn no matter how many years it takes.
Right. Psh, crazy shit. But yeah.
And you have an issue with that. But
A big issue with that, Christian. But it's just me. It's just
have
me.
some
I lost a
imagination.
son. I
Have some
lost the son of
imagination.
some guy. Have some imagination to lose the kid of a guy that just died. All right, it is what it is. Honestly, no. Listen, man, for the Vinland Saga fans, the two listeners, if we still have those two, if those two are still committed, it's a joke. It's a joke. But yeah, great show, great show. That's a bit odd to me to lose someone out of five guys who's so important. But aside from that, it's a great show. But go on, Christian, go on.
So, but yeah, so yeah, Leaf says he'll find Thorfinn no matter how many years it takes. And then we get a cheery montage of Ylva working seemingly unaffected by the death of her father and missing brother. However, when night comes and she runs out of work, she can no longer be distracted. The weight of the news comes crashing down on her, and she weeps in Helga's arms.
So
And
sad.
it was very sad. Uh, I really love Ylva. I like her character a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's she's just she's so cool to me. I don't know. It's
Yeah, and mm-hmm.
yeah, just because the stoicism. I don't know if that's the best word that she
um,
displayed in that moment.
right. But I think that has something to do her upbringing because like Thor's was procreating solely under requests. Like he said, the king, the commander is requesting a son. Give me a son. Also, that nurturing paternal side because like daddy's little girl basically she never had that. So therefore, she was kind of brought up almost like a guy, which is probably why she has such I don't want to just say masculine because I'm not trying to get canceled here, but he's like this is why you can see that she's very like Tess like or Marlene like. It's like women that were raised tough. Like although Thor's moved to Iceland and he lives in a beautiful little community, like you can tell he's not the most emotional kind of person. Like and because they don't have slaves and she's the oldest, and you can like tell she does chores. Although like you said, she asks every year for a slave. Like she's like rigid. She doesn't really care about these guys that are trying to like ask her to be married and shit. That's not the kind of girl that she's not a girly girl and shit like that. Like Ellie said, I'm not a girly girl. It's like I don't know. I think her upbringing has something to do with that and Thor's lack of affection in that department, like father daughter thing. Anyway, it's all subjective. I don't know. Yeah.
Hmm. Yep. Yep. And then we go back to Thorfinn. So Bjorn or Thorfinn's in the forest. I think he's sleeping. And then Bjorn casually comes up to him and says, "Hey, you've been working pretty hard." And then Thorfinn just launches a barrage of assaults at him or insults at him. Uh,
Mm.
and Bjorn just he admits that his father was strong. Um, he effortlessly deflects the strike that Thorfinn tried to land on him, and then he's just like, "It's just you're weak, kid." And then he walks away, and Thorfinn has to eat that up.
But he
That
said
he's
something
just
too,
weak.
bro. He said your father was strong, but he was naive, which is fucking true, bro. Like, how do you expect these motherfuckers? Like, how do you? Oh my goodness, it's Ned Stark, bro. This is Ned Stark 2.0. The naivete is insane, man. Like, how do you? Like, how do you think you're gonna reason with these folks? Just kill the motherfucker. But anyway, Askeladd was needed to survive because his character development is fucking insane. But like, bro, like know the crowd, man. Like, you see the village that these motherfuckers just like wiped out. Like, you don't see people at all. Like, Leaf is already telling you there used to be more people. You can put two and two together. These are assassins. These are killers. How the fuck do you think you're gonna hold a knife to the man's neck? Oh, I won. Oh, all right, bro. It is what it is. We love Thors.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Mm, mm, mm.
Okay. All right.
I'll let you stir in that. I don't interfere.
Ugh.
But
Go ahead, bro.
yeah,
Go ahead.
so night comes again, and Thorfinn gets his first kill by applying a lesson that he learned from Askeladd. The lesson was specifically that um, you don't want to let your sword swing you around like that. So that piece of advice rang in Thorfinn's ear when he saw like this wolf come up to him in his campfire. So instead of using the big sword, he takes out a small dagger and he stabs the wolf in the neck, killing it. And after that, he adopts the small knife as a weapon of choice. He trains with it. The sun sets, the sun rises, time fast forwards a little, and he successfully hunts his very first rabbit. So, emboldened by his sense of progress, he challenges Askeladd again, but loses. His skill increased a little bit, enough to make Bjorn take notice and have Askeladd smirk during the battle, but not enough to really impress anybody. So, after another slew of declarations from Thorfinn, Askeladd told him to achieve something on the battlefield, and that once he does, he'll be rewarded with a duel. A promise between warriors, and then Thorfinn says that Askeladd will die by his hands, and then we move into episode 6.
The knife that's the knife his dad gave him, right? The knife Thor's gave him.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
So beautiful, beautiful shit, man. All right, episode 6. So yeah, like Loki informed Thor's in episode 2 that the daughter of the king was there, daughter or sister. Who was it that was there that ended up dying? The sister of the king of Denmark died in the Saturday attack from the British. So for that reason, some Danes invaded England, and of course, what is England gonna do? England fought back, and Denmark sent more Vikings to fight. And then Askeladd comes in. Well, they show you the history, like the fighting's going on between these two countries, and then they cut the Askeladd, and he's explaining how we're not the middlemen, but we're the guys that are basically laying the path for Denmark and England because they're already in England. It's like they're doing the dirty work to appease the headaches of the upcoming Danes. Like when they get there, it's gonna be like, okay, the battle's definitely almost won because these guys are getting to the center of England and they're killing for us. They're getting the job done. Like the infiltrators are doing good. That's like their freaking Trojan horse in England. So yeah. And then there's an interaction that was pretty dope actually. So there's this base, guys from Denmark, but in the army, like official, legit, that are having trouble with some British archers. And they're like, hey, you need some help for £5 of gold. We can help you guys, as what Askeladd proposed. And Bjorn, like, giggled. And the guy's like, hey, what are you giggling about? Like, we're not the same. And I'm like, bro, like, yo, this motherfucker's coming in here to help you, but because he's not in the freaking same, to me is the way I took it. And I'll ask you, like, social, like economic, social, just straight up economic, like you're in a higher position, you're actually in a rank in the army, like you have a shield, and they look like peasants, but they're freaking skillful assassins. And that's where I took it when he's like, we're not the same. What he told Bjorn. It's like crazy, yeah. I'm in a better level than you are, but and then of course, homeboy dies right after saying that because the British, the archers, just
Third party.
shit's flying. Yeah, third party bro is freaking flying. Askeladd's like take cover. They freaking start fighting, and then Thorfinn, Thorfinn almost got killed, of course, because Askeladd saved them. And Askeladd's like, oh, I thought you were dead or some shit like that. Like it's not a place for a week or something. I don't remember what he said.
Mm.
Do you remember what he told Thorfinn after saving his life?
Well, yeah, he said something to the effect of the weak, the battlefield isn't for the weak. And
Yeah, yeah,
that scene, what I really loved is how he stabbed the soldier through the back, and then he
yeah,
injures Thorfinn as well.
yeah,
It's like
yeah.
that's
Purposely.
it's vague. Like you don't really know if it was on purpose or if it was an accident. But I love that. Like it's because if it was on purpose, that's intense. That's a really
Yeah,
intense thing to
that's a
do.
wake up call, bro. It's like, yeah, bitch, you either don't belong here or fucking sack up or some shit, bro. Like, just boy up and fight, or or this place just not for you, man. You're a liability, basically.
Yeah,
And of course,
and if it
mm,
wasn't on purpose, then Thorfinn could have died right there. And then if he did die, I'm pretty sure Askeladd would have just been like, oh well, he was too weak. Fuck him. Let's move
yeah,
on.
yeah,
That's
that would
crazy.
have justified, right? Gambling how little this motherfucker cared about this kid's life in that instance. I mean, dude, he's fighting for his life. They're all under attack. Like, I don't got time to fucking like, but like that wasn't even his man. He went and killed this man. I guess out of the kindness of his heart, because he didn't have to kill this man who was killing Thorfinn.
Yeah,
Man. And then Thorfinn has his freaking first brutal kill.
mm.
Uh, and got up and freaking like screamed. Oh man, that
Askeladd
was like an
sees it.
awakening. Askeladd sees it, Bjorn sees it. Yeah.
Well,
Oh, and I liked the evolution after that. Oof. Little scenes of him getting better and better, but of
hair
course, better
growing.
at killing. Right, hair growing, but it's like you're becoming more and more like those killings become more and more effortless. It was like,
Yeah,
ah, oh, damn. It's like
but it's still
I don't
taking
know,
time though. I like that. Like it's not just. It still
because he's
takes a couple
yeah.
episodes for him to really get to that point, but they're not
Mm,
rushing through it. Like they're really trying to
no, and
convey
this
that
the
time is
rush.
passing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They rush times passing, but they did that in this episode. In episode 6, they did that. Right after you kill that man, they show you his skills evolving like the next 3 minutes as his hair grows.
Yeah,
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 that happened in this episode,
yeah.
and they get a
No,
long time pass. Oh, you mean as they're showing you that time is passing, as in this is not like he becomes great like next week, as in years go by because he went from a boy to a teenager.
right? Because like they could have just had like a couple minutes of him going through the period, and then all of a sudden he's like super strong or badass or whatever.
Yeah.
But the rest of the
No, they did
episode,
that gradually.
yeah, yeah,
That was nicely done. Yeah, it could have easily said like 5 years later. It could have been like this, but it's like, nah, they
Exactly.
showed you he keep fighting, he keep throwing the knife, he keep throwing the knife, he keep trying. It's like, bro, he keep killing. Dude, he saved Bjorn at one point. He saved Askeladd at one point, bro. This guy was like, He threw the knife and killed some guy that was in front of him. Like, dude, oh, and the knife, bro. This dude is like Arya Stark, man.
What are
It's
these
like that's
Game of Thrones
Needle.
references? So many Game of
Game of
Thrones
Thrones.
references.
So many Game of Thrones references. I'm sorry you jumped ship, Christian, but it's your loss. It is what it is. But yeah, man, crazy shit. And then of course, oh my goodness, they get to the heart, the center of England, and Askeladd start using this dude as his freaking because he knows what motivated him. He's like, go scout. He's like, why do I do it? And he makes this sound like if you're gonna do with me to kill me. That's what I saw when he did that.
Yeah.
What? Oh, so that's what you Okay, that's your interpretation too.
Yeah, so it's it's like yeah, like their relationship, cuz they have a very twisted relationship throughout the show. And
Yeah, like he's that's true.
Askeladd doing the chop, it's I'm pretty sure it's the first time that he's using that as a reward to make Thorfinn do his bidding. Or
Yeah,
at least that's the first time that they're showing specifically that's what's happening.
bro.
And that's important because that keeps
Yeah,
happening. And that's
yeah.
how
To
he sticks under
more dangerous
Askeladd.
situations,
Yeah.
like way more, man.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah, this was just one, and this was just a village with a few armed British soldiers. Like, bro. But anyway, like, yeah, he's like, if you want to kill me, he's like, great. Of course, the dude is hungry for revenge. That's his main. That's the main reason why he's with this crew. Like how crazy is that? Like you're currently fighting to be better to kill the man that you're currently following. It's like
Yeah,
you go
it's
everywhere he goes. You eat with his guys. You sleep where he sleeps.
it's
He
wild.
knows. You know. It's just-
Yeah. It's like a
oh
twisted
man.
father training his.
Not yet. No, will become, of course. Yeah. As we get deeper, it will literally become. I think if you mentioned this off air, you're like, it's such a twisted thing that it's like his mentor. No, I was like the man he wants to kill, his enemy, his number one enemy. You're like is also his mentor. It's
Yeah.
like insane.
Yeah.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
such a cool
Uh,
idea.
no, that concept is beautiful. That's such a beautiful concept, and only a kid could play that role. As an adult, would have literally put the just it would not have worked. Like
Mm.
as mature as he becomes through all these killing, he's also immature still enough to participate in this, doing this dude's bidding, because he has like this unilateral mindset. Like I'm only here to this dude made a promise to me. If I prove myself in the battlefield, whatever task he give me, I'm going to do it without stopping and think, wait, like this dude's actually risking my life. But because he's so fixated on that, and he's a kid grieving for his father, which he loved, he can't see that this dude's using me as a fucking boomerang or some shit. Like that's like the dude's just vengeance is what's in his head to get better enough to challenge this guy, to build his killing resume, or to be like, great, I'm good enough, let's do it, let me kill you. Just,
Right. Hmm.
no, the writers, that concept is beautiful. That's some beautiful shit, man. So
Writer.
yeah, you go. The who?
Writer. I think it's just.
One guy?
I'm
Oh
pretty
wow,
sure. Yeah.
bro, he doesn't have a team. Seriously?
Well, he has a. I mean, the world of mangakas, you have people helping you, but the story, the dialogue, I'm pretty sure that's all him.
Hmm. That's shit. Props to homeboy, man. Damn, it's a fucking masterpiece.
Attack
But
on
yeah,
Titan too. It's all one
same
person.
guy.
No, not the same guy, but like the that's how it is for a lot of manga artists. It's like there's one person who's like they're calling the shots as far as the
Damn.
story, the characters, how things progress, everything, even the dialogue. That's why
Hmm.
he's an incredible. That's why that adds to the how insane this story is. There's so many personalities. There's so many perspectives. There's so many because you have to be in the mind of Askeladd and the things that he
Yeah.
does. Well, to dip your mind in and out of these characters and the heads that
Yeah.
they occupy, it's
Mm-hmm.
crazy. It's
Mm-hmm.
that's exhausting, I would imagine.
And he's a very smart man, very smart, very yeah.
And you
Nah,
have to
it's very
really
true.
understand how human beings work to come up with a story like this.
That's true too. Actually, yeah, that is true. Yeah, because
Wow.
everyone's just their own. Everyone's driven by their like interest. I guess it's
Mm.
just it's the dude. This dude want money because this dude has soldiers depending on him. Like, you got to keep feeding them. This dude want revenge. Like, this dude wants that. So it's and they'll go to great lengths to get what they want. This dude will make a kid an orphan, clearly seeing that his father did cleanly beat him because he wants to get paid.
Mm.
Crazy shit. Nah, beautiful story. I love it. The show's great. Yeah, he goes scout, kills as many as he can, and of course and of course they leave him freaking half dead, like three-fourth dead, because like he beat these people that he was fighting, but it was just no more strength. And this mom and this daughter, British people. Oh my goodness, bro, that interaction. Fuck. All right, I gotta bring myself to break this down. Like, bro, like this is the enemy, bro. This is the enemy that caught you. Like, well aware that you're fucking you're Danish. You're a Dane. It's like oh my goodness. Like bro. Anyway, the daughter identified that right away. Like, hey mom, this kid, we can tell that this kid is Dane. And the mom's like, well, Jesus wouldn't forgive me if we didn't take him in, if we didn't feed him, and this is not my thing
Christians.
anyway. Yeah, he's like, did he say we're Christians? Did she say that what she said?
Well, I mean, she's talking about Jesus Christ, so I would assume.
Yes. I see. Yeah, that gives you a religion right away. That makes sense. No, that's true. That's true. That's true. It's like, well, the king is the one that like no longer like the Danes, and because he doesn't like them, he wants to kill them, and this is why they're upset and they're fighting back. Because before that, the previous king, there was peace between Denmark and England. So that's not our deal. That's not our fight. We don't need to get involved in that. And like I mentioned, Jesus wouldn't forgive me. Now the daughter mentioned something else, bro. It's like, how do we let this guy in when dad is currently fighting in the war right now against him, bro? Like, it's like when you meet people that are so good and then die in those shows. It's like, oh my goodness, bro. Yo, it's like the grandma's like, listen, I get what you're saying, girl, but hey, he's just a kid. Like, whatever he's doing right now, there must have been some traumatic actions that have led to him becoming the teenager that he currently is. So for that reason, he cannot bear all the blame. We're gonna feed this kid. And my boy has lice. He's like, fuck that. We're gonna wash your hair. Not wear, just me. At this point, it's just her. Oh my goodness, combing her hair, bro.
And not
And
only that, like Thorfinn
yeah,
also reminds her of the son that she lost. I'm sure that's a
yeah, I was
big
gonna get
reason
to
too.
that. Yeah, she mentioned that before. It's after she washes hair and combs his hair, and the officer comes in, bro. Like, there's a boy that resembles this kid, the same height. Have you seen him around? And defend him. And the sister's going crazy. Why didn't you give her away? And the sister says, "You know that he can't replace John, right?" Of course, when she says that, you're like, all right. Obviously, she, like, the mom probably, not obviously, I said probably, had a son, I guess, named John. Probably died. And is there a backstory in this? Is in the manga or something, or is that all we know? Like, what was said there of John?
About who?
I'm just like,
John?
is there a manga for Vinland Saga?
Yeah, there's a manga.
Did you read it?
No, no, I enjoyed the anime too much.
Okay. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I was just curious if they went more into John, even though that's literally just an extra. That's a side character for just to make a point of like although
Yeah.
you're fighting whoever it is you're fighting, there still are good people like in this freaking world, like in this current commotion in the country of England, because these people are these Askeladd's crew are coming through villages, careless of who lives there, like what these people are, that they're innocent, just like ravaging villages. But bro, it's just, anyways, like you can't replace John. And of course, Thorfinn goes inside, get a torch. It became dark, nighttime, I guess. He goes inside,
Mm.
he gets a torch, lights it up in fire, and tells him in English. That was so dope too. Like, oh, as it shows you, this kid is not far gone yet because this kid is still have his father's blood in him. What are you about to say something?
Yeah, throughout the show, I wish I knew how this sounded in like to a native Japanese person
Right?
because like it just sounds like he's still speaking Japanese when he
Yeah.
says that, and it happens. I'm pretty sure later on in the show. I don't know. Like they're speaking different
Run.
languages, not in this episode, but just in the show in general. Like I don't know. I would have to listen to the English dub and see how they did it there. It'd be kind of
Mm.
funny if you're like they're speaking the same language and they're just telling you that they're speaking a different one. It'd be a
Yeah.
little.
No, but they gave him a thick accent for that one word. It was like run,
He
run.
said the word "run" like
Yeah,
RUN.
that's what I heard. What did you hear?
Nigero. I think that's run in Japanese. I don't know. I would have to go back and listen to it.
Yeah, that's funny. That's yeah. Literally, he literally said from me. Like I even vividly remember this. He was like, yeah, RUN is what I put down. Yeah. No, literally, what I heard was like a run. But sure, I guess if you watch it in different, it is what it is. But yeah, he tried saving them, which is dope. And of course, they're not getting it. Oh, he freaking like killed two other soldiers. Like he lit the fire, which is a signal. And of course, in the middle of oh my goodness, like in the middle of telling these people to run, run, like the Vikings are coming, he stops and sees the grandma and she's crying. Oh my goodness, bro. And he feels so terrible. It's like I think this is the one closest thing to yeah, I'd say home. He had a flashback to home at one point. When was it with these people that he had the flashback with his mom and his sister?
Hmm, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't remember. He had a flashback between episode 1 to 6. Like I don't know, maybe I'll actually I think it's in 6 because there's the treatment was like so dope. I don't hmm I might be getting this wrong, but yeah, the like the way he's looking at her, man, it's like oh my goodness. Like I'm very sorry, but I have to do this. Ugh, and the people come through. Oh, and she's just fixated on him. They're looking at each other, and then she just like washes away. Damn. And I hate the fact that as a kid, he has to get back in character, I guess, or killing mode. Like he takes a deep breath, like shakes himself off, and then just like join the freaking gang and keep running,
I
bro. And they
think
show you, yeah.
I
You think what?
think that is one of the most important scenes in the entire show.
In the
Personally,
entire show?
in the entire show, there's a lot of important scenes, obviously, but that is one of the most important scenes when it comes to Thorfinn's character, specifically when he takes in his situation, takes a deep breath. He drinks his suffering and the
Mm-hmm.
emotions. He just stuffs it deeper and deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
And then he just
Yeah.
collects himself and then he just keeps moving on. That damages him throughout the entire show because he just keeps
Yeah.
doing that every time he's traveling with this group of people. They do these terrible things, but he just has to keep taking these breaths, keep stuffing
Yeah.
down his emotions. So that's a very very important thing to show.
That was the first time. Yeah, this is not easy. This takes a lot of resilience to to, to bear the evil, evil doing, and to keep moving forward with the same company.
And
It's
that's a good
just,
word for it. Evil. Yeah. He keeps just eating these
bro.
evil things that they're doing.
As a kid, well, as a teenager, the dude's like 14, and he looked 14. I don't know what his age is, but damn, bro. But yeah, and then of course, big symbol. They show you the comb, and it's broken. Like, I don't know if that's a sign of like something in him that is no longer the same. Like I don't know what that resembled actually, but I was like, everything's here for a reason. If they're showing me this comb that's now broken, what does that mean? But then that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's the comb, but there's also the scene with the grandma that I never truly got what they were trying to do there. I assume because the
What?
grandma's. All right, calm down. Let me explain. The grandma, when she was on the beach, and then the Vikings, they just started running, and they were like, in between the mom and Thorfinn, she just suddenly disappears. Like it's not like
Yeah.
she was knocked over. It's not like they grabbed her and took her. It's not like she ran away. She just disappears. So I assume it's like a mix between symbolism and reality. But yeah, that I never really got what happened to her there.
Right. So to me, my point, she actually never made it back. She actually did fade, but I think it's a sense of his guilt. It's a sense of shame because she's looking at her as someone that she just tried saving, someone that she saw goodness in, someone that she
Mm,
just said, "Hey, he's just a kid. He would not be able to participate in this. Like, I'm gonna treat him good. Like, you took me into my like your own. Like, I treated you like while you were like nursing you back to health, and this is how you repay me." When I was the only one that was against. Literally, she's the only one that stayed like, "Hey, like, I'm gonna help this kid. That's what I should do." So I think that's just in the psychosis. Yeah, it's just him. This is no longer like reality, but this person is just a reflection, I guess, of him, of what he's doing to someone that was good to him, and it's just a guilty conscience. I'm participating in the killing of all these people, which are my enemies, but these two people in particular, this one person actually, because the daughter was bitching to him all along, which she has every reason to be. Because dude, my father's fighting you like you're the enemy. You just killed guards. You're killing us now, which is proving my point that I didn't know. But look what you're doing. But to be like this elderly woman, bro, like them, who actually saw goodness in me, and I'm able to participate in that. Yeah, I think she's been gone. She was dead a long time ago. That washed away. It was just the last thing in this place to eat him even more, which is what probably caused this big first breath the first time we're seeing it. As in, bro, this is like, yeah, this is guilt. This is like burden. Like this is not right. This people didn't deserve to die. I think. No, like literally, you never know. But I don't know. And bro, episode 6 ends. Uh,
and then it ends. Yeah, so now I think next episode. Well, I guess I'll leave that for when we talk about it. But
yeah.
yeah, so all right. Thanks for listening. If you stuck it out to the whole thing,
Oh
uh,
my goodness.
and we're making our way to season 2. We're gonna cover another batch of episodes. So if you want, we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
All right.